So, what if India could take one of its biggest pollution problems and turn it into its greatest energy solution? Today, we're diving into how the nation is transforming mountains of agricultural waste into clean fuel. It's a revolution, really, that could totally reshape its economic and environmental future.
This quote, it really hits the nail on the head. See, this isn't just some environmental policy, it's practically a declaration of economic independence. Just imagine redirecting billions of dollars that are spent on foreign oil and putting them right back into India's own rural communities. That's the powerful shift we're talking about here.
I know what you're thinking. That sounds like a massive, ambitious vision. And to even begin to understand how it could possibly work, we first need to get a handle on the sheer scale of the energy challenge India is facing right now. Okay, so picture this. India is standing at a major energy crossroads. On one hand, you've got this rapidly growing economy that's demanding more and more power every single day. And on the other, there's this deep, kind of risky reliance on the rest of the world for its fuel. 85%. Just let that number sink in for a second. That's how much of its crude oil India has to buy from other countries. Now, this isn't just a statistic on a page. It's a huge economic vulnerability that affects everything from the price you pay at the pump to big international policy decisions. So this is the tightrope India is walking. You've got the immense weight of its energy dependency on one side, and on the other, its really firm commitment to a greener net zero future. The big question is, can it find a single solution that lightens the load on both sides at the same time? Well, the answer to that huge challenge might just be hiding in plain sight, in India's fields, farms, and cities. So let's talk about the technology at the heart of all this, compressed biogas, or CBG. So what exactly is CBG? Okay, think of it like a super refined, high-quality version of the biogas you might have heard of. It's purified to boost the methane content so high that it becomes a perfect drop-in replacement for the natural gas that already powers trucks and factories. That's a huge deal. No new engines needed. You know, the journey from waste to fuel is pretty fascinating. It all starts with collecting everyday organic stuff, leftover straw from a harvest, cattle manure, even garbage from the city. Then, these armies of tiny microbes feast on this waste, and in the process, they release a raw biogas. That gas then gets scrubbed and filtered to make it a really potent fuel. And finally, it's compressed, ready to power a vehicle. It's literally trash to transport. And you gotta understand, this isn't just some niche experiment happening in a lab somewhere. This technology has captured the attention of the entire nation. It's sparking this massive top-down strategic push to build a whole new industry right from the ground up. The scale of the opportunity here is just staggering. India generates over 500 million tons of this kind of biomass every single year. For decades, a lot of this was seen as a major problem. Surplus straw being burned in fields, choking cities with smog. With CBG, that very same straw becomes the solution.
But look, having potential alone doesn't build an industry. To really kickstart this revolution, the government came up with a pretty brilliant incentive. Through a policy called SATAT, they basically created a guaranteed market. They promised that state-owned companies would buy every single bit of CBG produced. And that one promise, it completely unlocked a flood of private investment. And this is exactly why CBG is so exciting. It's what you might call a triple win, a single solution that tackles multiple, massive problems all at once. You reduce your import bills, which strengthens the national economy. You clean up the air and capture greenhouse gases. And you create a brand new source of income for farmers, which strengthens rural communities. It's just a perfect, virtuous cycle. And this isn't just a theory. It's not just an idea for the future. The growth is already happening. We're past 60 operational plants already, but the pipeline, that's what's truly astonishing. Over 500 projects are already lined up with official letters of intent. This is an industry that's taking off in real time. All right, so we've got the national strategy, we've got the growing momentum, but to really see the future of this revolution, we need to zoom in on one particular state that is just poised to become a CBG powerhouse, Bihar, over in eastern India. So what makes Bihar such a perfect candidate? Well, it's all about the raw materials. The state is an agricultural giant with a huge variety of resources: paddy straw, maize residue, and waste from its massive sugar industry. This diversity is absolutely key because it means CBG plants can get a steady, year-round supply, making their operations way more stable and profitable.
And here's the really interesting part from a strategic point of view. While other, more developed states are already seeing some intense competition for these biomass resources, Bihar is still a relatively untapped market. For investors and entrepreneurs, this represents a golden opportunity, a real chance to get in on the ground floor. And we're not just talking about one specific corner of the state either. The opportunity is spread all across it, from the rice-heavy agricultural belts up in the north to the industrial corridors near the capital and down into the diverse farmlands in the south. Each region offers its own unique mix of resources. So the potential is clearly immense, but let's be real. Potential doesn't build power plants. What's it actually going to take to turn this vision of Bihar as a bioenergy leader into a reality on the ground? Well, the path definitely has its obstacles. The biggest challenge is just logistics. How do you build a massive, reliable supply chain to collect waste from thousands and thousands of small farms? Then you've got infrastructure, building the pipelines and distribution networks to get the fuel to the market. And finally, there's the human element. You've got to make sure farmers and local communities are active participants who really see the benefit. But, and this is a big but, if these hurdles can be overcome, the prize is huge. Bihar could literally transform itself from an agricultural state into the bioenergy hub for all of eastern India, exporting clean fuel and pioneering a whole new model of green development. Making this vision a reality is going to require a true partnership. It's not something one group can do alone. It needs the government to create stable policies, it needs the private sector to bring the capital and the technology, and most importantly, it needs the active involvement of millions of farmers, who are the real foundation of this entire system. This all leads us to one final really powerful idea. For centuries, we've thought of energy as something you have to extract from deep within the earth. But what if India's energy future doesn't lie underground, but in the cycle of life itself? A true circular economy, where today's waste literally becomes tomorrow's power. That is the incredible promise of the CBG